It's not your typical Montreal 3 a.m. party, but that didn't stop world leaders from celebrating. The reason? The post-2020 Global Biodiversity Framework has been ratified in Montreal after years of discussions and delays due to the pandemic. This means that countries around the world have agreed on goals and targets to protect 30% of the Earth's lands and waters by 2030.
We've always been looking out for caribou.
Panelists from different nations participating in the National Boreal Caribou Knowledge Consortium were also pleased.
The big news this morning, I really feel hopeful for the first time in a really long time, and I'm really excited to see where this collaboration can go.
I'm really encouraged by the addition of Indigenous people being mentioned throughout the document.
The framework promises to protect Indigenous land rights and title and incorporate Indigenous knowledge alongside Western science.
We want to be equal with science, but we don't want to be absorbed by science. Science cannot be end all. There's other knowledge there that exists that's older than science, and that's our knowledge. So that's what we bring into this collaboration theme.
Canada is working on creating more Indigenous protected and conserved areas, something that Munson says could help protect Caribou and Bistow Lake, an important body of water on his territory in northern Alberta.
If Crown governments are serious about honoring the promises that were made when we signed the treaty back in the year 1900, this is the last chance. This is the last place to do that. If we don't get protections for Bistow Lake, we fear that our treaty promises may not be able to be kept.
The International Indigenous Forum on Biodiversity, or IIFB, released a statement supporting the new framework and urged nations not to change any of the language. Representatives from the IIFB said Indigenous nations should be considered a party as themselves at the level of a nation. And David Ainsworth of the United Nations Secretariat said that is a possibility in the future.
Over the next 2 years, parties and an ad hoc technical expert group will evaluate the existing role of Indigenous peoples and local communities and traditional knowledge and evaluate whether that can be indeed expanded and move forward. And the proposal will come to COP16.
Marlene Hale of the Wet'suwet'en Nation said that the road to the agreement was a bumpy one, with some First Nations people getting their drums and regalia confiscated by security. But she was ultimately happy to have met with Indigenous women from across the world and hopes the framework lives up to its promises.
We want you to all go home on a happy note. We don't want you to go away from here with heavy hearts. We want you to go here that we've met each other and we are with each other. We're sisters worldwide.
Emilia Fournier, APTN National News, Montreal.